When I first stepped off the plane at Heathrow, I was filled with hope. I had left behind a life of uncertainty in the US, believing that the UK would be the answer to my dreams. A stable job, good pay, and a chance to build a better future for my family. But no one told me the full story. If you're an African teacher thinking of moving to the UK, this is the video for you. I'll be sharing my journey, the struggles no one warned me about, and the lessons I've learned along the way. Now, this is not to scare you, but to prepare you, because the truth is, for many of us, the UK isn't the promised land we imagined. I remember the day I saw the UK teacher recruitment ad. Urgent demand for teachers. Competitive salary. It seemed like the perfect opportunity. But what they didn't say is 40,000 UK teachers quit the profession, which was why there was now space. The UK government can't convince its own citizens to teach anymore. And so they turned to us, to teachers from Nigeria, Ghana, South Africa, Zimbabwe, India, and beyond. On the surface, it seems like a win-win. Yeah, they need teachers, we need jobs, but here's where it gets tricky. You would likely be paid less than your British colleagues. You will work longer hours than you ever have before in your entire life, and you will face hidden costs, visa fees, IHS charges, and relocation expenses that can drain your savings even before you get your first paycheck. And let's not forget the elephant in the room, the big R word, and the mountains of microaggressions in the education system that you will face. Yes, back home, teaching was about respect. When I walked into a classroom in Lagos, Accra, or Nairobi, students stood up to greet me. There was an unwritten understanding that teachers were to be respected, the same type of respect they had for their parents at home. Sometimes even more. But my first week in a UK classroom, total chaos, disaster. First there was, "Miss, you can't tell me what to do." Then there was, "Why do you talk like that?" And then there was, "I'm going to report you." Naturally, I was shocked. Students refused to listen. Some walked out of the class without even taking permission. Others cursed at teachers. Something unthinkable back home. In fact, back home, your teacher dares not report you to your parents. Please comment down below what happens in your country when your teacher reports you for being disrespectful. And the shocking part was that when I asked my British colleagues what to do, their response was always, "Oh, just ignore it." Ignore it? How? In many African countries, discipline is strict. In the UK, students know their rights, but few know their responsibilities. And then there were the parents. Some treated me like I was incompetent, assuming I didn't understand how to teach just because I was foreign. I'm not even going to go to the color thing. Some emailed my manager over the smallest things, questioning my abilities in ways they never did with my British colleagues. And when I tried to enforce discipline, I was told I was being too strict, or that my cultural expectations didn't fit British education. It took me months to learn the system, and in that time, I almost quit twice. Well, I ended up leaving for Oman after nearly breaking my neck on that impossible hill called the UK PGCE. But that's definitely another story which I shall save for another video. When you get your offer letter, you'll be excited. 30,000 a year? Woo! That will sound like a fortune. But when the bills start piling in, woo! Visa application, IHS, rent in London for a tiny flat, and then council tax, electricity, transport, another 500 gone, and you're thinking, Back when I worked in the UK, by the time the salary hit my account, I was barely saving anything. In fact, I knew teachers who had to take second jobs just to survive. Go watch this video and you will see why I left for Oman. And if you have a family, the costs are even higher. One teacher I know had to pay nearly £10,000 upfront to bring her husband and her children over. Benny. The hardest part wasn't just the job. It wasn't even the money. It was the loneliness. Back home, we have community. We have family to help with childcare, cooking, emotional support, and all that. We had friends to visit after work. We had colleagues to hang out with and brunch with. But in the UK, I would finish teaching at 4:30, go home and sit alone in silence. Well, I had children, but I couldn't have adult conversation with my children. No one would knock on my door, no random visits from neighbors. In fact, you could live next door to people for 14 months and not know their names. And in winter, it got dark by 4 p.m. Depression is real among immigrant teachers. Many of us don't talk about it, but we feel it. Some give up and go back home. Some stick it out, but never feel settled. And some find a way to build community despite all the problems, which is the only way to survive, really. I remember getting fed up, baking a mountain of cupcakes and taking it round to my neighbors, just so I could introduce myself and tell them my name. In case I fell down in my flat one day, at least they will know the name of the person on the floor. It was that bad. So after everything I've said, should you move to the UK to teach? Absolutely. Just because it's mission difficult doesn't mean it's mission impossible. Why? Well, if you want British teaching experience to help you get a job in Dubai, China, or Europe, it can be a very smart move. It helps me still till today. When employers see my CV and where my education and experience comes from, they open their doors with a smile. If you're single, financially stable, willing to hustle in the first few years, you might make it work. Just make sure you bake cakes early on and introduce yourself properly and start building a community around you fast. If you can't bake cakes, take chocolates over. They would love it. If you have a school that's sponsoring your visa and supporting your transition, that's a big plus. Although it may mean you will have to pay them back in installments, but at least that will take the big chunk of worry off you. But if you're coming expecting financial freedom and an easy life, think twice. The UK can be a stepping stone, but for many of us, it was not the final destination. We always had our eyes on bigger places. I know this has been a lot to take in, but I want to hear from you. Are you considering teaching in the UK? What are your biggest fears or questions? Drop them in the comment section down below. And if you're already teaching in the UK, what has your experience been? Let's share and help others make informed decisions so that our community can grow and we can stop living in pockets around the country and crying alone. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications on this video. My next video will be the best and worst countries for teaching abroad, my honest ranking. Please don't miss it. If you're a teacher with a story to share, send me a message. Let's make this conversation bigger. I will be very happy to have you on my channel to share your experience. Thank you so much. See you in the next video. Bye.